discovered the incredible hidden talent. Cleaning lady translates, changing lives forever. Every day before dawn, Rosa's alarm shattered the comforting silence of her small Chicago apartment. Sleep still clung to her eyelids as she shook awake, determined to start the relentless routine of getting her two children ready for school. She tucked her daughter's hair into a neat braid, helped her son tie his shoelaces, and wrapped a well-worn sandwich in foil. Her heart ached as she glanced at the empty fridge. Just enough to put food on the table, she whispered, reminding herself of her daily mantra as she grabbed her worn-out cleaning supplies, heading out the door, eyeing the bustling urban neighborhood. Rosa often felt invisible, the cleaning lady who became part of the background noise of life. She wiped countertops and vacuumed carpets while the world bustled, feeling the weight of whispers and sidelong glances as if she was nothing more than a tool. Yet hidden beneath the surface lay her untapped potential, dreams of a better life swirling like dust motes in the air. Then came that long day when she found herself cleaning a new family's home. As she dusted their shelves, snippets of conversation reached her ears. They were lost, grappling with immigration forms, the English language a wall between them and their future. Suddenly, without thinking, she began to translate the legal documents while piloting their frustrations. Who knew cleaning lady could speak so well? They marveled. In that moment, a dormant talent emerged, igniting a spark within Rosa that hadn't flickered in years. Her heart soared as she realized she could be more than just a worker. As word spread in the community, she became a lifeline for families caught in the maze of language barriers. Older residents, fearful of meetings, found solace in her, as did parents desperate for help with their children's school struggles. But the community's needs continued to grow. The local school called a meeting, desperate to connect non-English-speaking families with teachers. Rosa felt the pressure mounting. The air buzzed with nervous energy as community leaders debated funding for bilingual programs. It was a harrowing moment of potential unity until a wealthy council member coldly suggested cutting those very programs to bolster profits. The atmosphere shifted like a storm brewing on the horizon. Rosa felt her chest tighten, emotions bubbling over. With a deep breath, she stood, her voice trembling yet determined. "I'm just a cleaning lady," she began, steering her heart into her story of sacrifices, struggles, and relentless love. Initially met with skepticism, her honesty began to resonate. Parents connected, teachers nodded, and the room transformed from skepticism to energy, people sharing their own hardship stories. Yet the council member loomed large, resistant. "What gives you the right to demand change? What have you ever done?" Doubt rippled through the crowd. Rosa felt the weight of 1,000 expectations crash down on her. Would her newfound voice be enough to bridge that gap? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Rosa took a shaky breath, ready to fight for her family and her community. The air grew thick with anticipation as she prepared to respond. In that moment, she realized this wasn't just about programs or funding. It was about dignity, strength, and the fiery love of a mother. Would she rise to the challenge? Or would she fade back into the shadows? Rosa looked around the room, searching for support in the sea of anxious faces. Every nod, every worried expression urged her to dig deeper, to find the words that could spark change. Her heart raced, and she felt the heat of vulnerability wash over her. The council member's icy stare felt like a challenge, a dare to see if she could withstand the scrutiny. "My children, they are learning to speak English," she started, her voice stronger now. "They go to school, excited, but sometimes they struggle. Not because they aren't smart, but because the words don't come easy. They need us to understand." She took another step forward, the room holding its breath, waiting. "Just like these families here, we want our children to thrive. But how can they soar when we are being told their voices don't matter?" A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. As some heads nodded, Rosa felt her resolve strengthen. She turned to the council member, her eyes blazing with a mix of determination and desperation. You may see me as just a cleaning lady, but look around. I'm standing with my community. We are hard workers, dreamers, and fighters. Together, we can ensure our kids get the futures they deserve." She paused, letting the words hang in the air. Families exchanged glances, silent discussions brewing, a rhythm of unity slowly forming. The council member shifted in his seat, his composure faltering as the atmosphere thickened. The collective heartbeat of the audience resonated in the space, a pulse of hope and connection. "By cutting these programs, you cut our opportunities. You cut our voices," she added, her tone firm yet full of emotion. Rosa could see teachers, parents, and even students slowly rising in solidarity, aligning behind her. The young mother next to her clasped her hand, squeezing for strength. Rosa inhaled deeply, feeling the ripple of courage spread through the crowd. A teacher stood up, his brow furrowed. "As educators, we know the crucial impact of bilingual education. Our classrooms reflect the diversity of our community. We can be stronger when we embrace that." The room erupted in murmurs of agreement. The council member's demeanor shifted slightly, his brow wrinkling in confusion. "Can't you see?" Rosa continued, emboldened by the swell of support. "We aren't just seeking a handout. We're asking for a chance to grow and contribute. Together, we can create a bridge between our homes and our schools, between our languages and futures." More voices joined in. A father spoke about his son's struggles. A grandmother shared her fears for her grandchildren. Each personal story painted vivid images, weaving a tapestry of determination that transcended their differences. But the council member remained unmoved, his expression hardening again. "Words are fine, but they don't lead to real change. Show me something concrete." The room fell silent once more, hanging on his challenge. Rosa's heart sank, but she knew they had already taken a big step forward. Perhaps all the concrete solutions weren't clear yet, but the unity she felt in that moment was undeniable. "We will come together to create that change," Rosa said, her voice steady and filled with conviction. "We will draft a proposal. We will gather data and show you what we can do when we work together." The audience erupted in applause, and Rosa felt an electrifying shift in the air. She had ignited a fire within them, a desire to push back against the cold shadows of dismissal. But as she looked at the council member, she noticed a flicker of something else: fear. Was it fear of change? Fear of the unity they could build? Or fear of losing control? As the meeting concluded, Rosa knew the battle was just beginning. Hearts were racing, ideas bubbling, but she could feel the looming tension of resistance, the uncertainty of the fight ahead. What lengths would they go to protect what they had built together? With each step, Rosa felt the weight of her new role as a leader pressing down on her. Could she truly be the voice for the voiceless? She left the meeting that day with shifts of hope coursing through her and a question burning deep within her mind. Will our strength be enough to turn the tides? As she walked home, thoughts raced like the winds of change. Would her community rise to the challenge, or would the shadows swallow them whole? The next chapter of their journey was waiting just beyond the horizon, a storm brewing ahead. Rosa walked home, the weight of the meeting still heavy on her shoulders. The streets felt different under her feet, pulsing with energy she had never noticed before. Each step brought echoes of her words back to her, a reminder of the power latent within her community. She replayed the meeting in her mind, the faces of her neighbors shining with hope, as if they were all standing on the edge of something big. Yet, doubt crept in. What if their united voices weren't enough? What if the council member refused to listen, drowning them out with indifference? She began to pick up her pace, a mix of anxiety and excitement coursing through her. A plan began to form, tiny sparks of ideas flickering like stars in her mind. As she turned onto her street, she spotted a group of children playing in the warm evening light. Their laughter danced in the air, a symphony of joy that invigorated her spirit. Instinctively, she smiled, wishing each of them could see the world full of possibilities. They were the reason she fought, the reason she stood before that council. These children deserved better. Suddenly, an idea struck her. What if she could tap into those children's energy, their creativity? She envisioned a community gathering, a space where kids could share their stories through art or writing, where parents could contribute their dreams and aspirations. A place where language was not a barrier but a bridge. It felt right. Rosa rushed into her modest home, her heart pounding with excitement. She reached for a pen and a notepad, jotting down a plan. Community Art and Language Day, she scrawled across the top. She could picture it now, a day filled with colorful banners, laughter, and the sounds of children practicing English through games. But they needed help, resources, commitment. She glanced at her phone, fingers hovering. Should she reach out to her neighbors? With a deep breath, she messaged a few parents she had met during the meeting. Just as she pressed send, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Marisol, the young mother who had stood by her during the council meeting. I believe in this. Count me in. Rosa's heart soared. That support was just what she needed. She began reaching out to more families, sending ideas back and forth. Before she realized it, within hours, a small team of passionate moms and dads formed, eager to help make the day happen. Their voices melded into a chorus of agreement, like a beautiful song rising towards the sky. The next morning, Rosa awoke with renewed determination. She hitched her apron and began her cleaning duties, but the tasks felt lighter, the air sweeter. With each swipe of her cloth, she daydreamed about the gathering. What if they could leave a mark, not just on that day, but for generations? Who would they inspire? Days turned into a whirlwind of preparation. There were posters to make, materials to gather, and the endless logistics of organizing a community event. Yet the excitement grew, and as they spread the word, more families showed up to help. It felt like every hour brought a new spark, a new connection. But then, just as everything seemed to align, doubt resurfaced. Rosa worried about what might happen if the council member caught wind of their plans. Would he feel threatened? Would he counter their efforts before they could even start? But amid the anxiety, there was a flicker of courage. They were done being silent. In the days leading up to the event, Rosa returned to the council, heart pounding, planning to appeal for their support publicly. She knew it was a risk, but she was ready to elevate her community's voices. They needed a stage to shine, a chance to propel themselves forward. Standing before the council once again would be tough. But that was the moment when everything could change. Could Rosa push through the fear and secure the funding they needed? Would the unity she felt among her community be enough to prevail against the shadows that threatened? As the day of their gathering dawned, Rosa held her breath, feeling the electricity in the air. The real journey was about to begin. Rosa couldn't shake the feeling of electric anticipation as she approached the council building. It loomed ahead, its brick facade casting a shadow that seemed to amplify her doubts. Her heart raced. What if the council member dismissed her ideas outright? What if he found a way to undermine everything they had built so far? Each step felt heavier, yet the vivid images of that gathering fueled her resolve. As she entered the building, she took a moment to gather herself. The walls were lined with photos of community members, heroes in their own right, who had fought for change. Were they standing where she was, heart pounding, facing the unknown? With that thought, she straightened her back and walked toward the conference room. Inside, the air felt thick with tension and authority. The council member, shaking hands and exchanging pleasantries, looked imposing. But Rosa had a different vision in her mind. The faces of her neighbors, the enthusiastic kids, all ready to share their stories, sparked warmth inside her. She stepped forward, her voice shaking yet strong. Thank you for giving me this chance to speak. The room quieted, eyes shifting toward her, and a knot formed in her stomach. How could she convey everything she felt? She inhaled deeply, focusing on the purpose behind her words. I believe our community deserves a chance to come together, to share our languages and cultures in meaningful ways. She explained the Community Art and Language Day, the vision she had nurtured. The more she spoke, the more conviction filled her voice. With each story they planned to tell, with every colorful banner they hoped to create, she could see familiar faces nodding in agreement. The mention of the children practicing their English through art brought soft smiles, the tension beginning to dissolve. But she had to address the fear too. I know there are challenges ahead, but together, we can build something transformative. This event isn't just for today. It's for future generations, giving them the tools they need to thrive in this community. There were murmurs across the table. Some seemed skeptical, others contemplative. She held her breath as an elderly council member furrowed his brow and finally spoke. Rosa, you mentioned language as a bridge, But how do you envision funding this event? A chill shot through her. She hadn't factored in the financial hurdles. Well, we have volunteers who are ready to help with materials, and we will seek smaller grants from local businesses, but securing official support would make a world of difference. Why should we help? The council member countered, sharp and questioning. Because it's not just an event. It's a chance to show unity. It's about empowerment. Children who feel supported grow up to be strong adults. Isn't that what we want for our community? The room was silent, contemplation hanging in the air. She wanted to shout, to remind them of everything they had fought for. But a sense of calm settled over her. The connection, the hope, they were tangible now, as if filling the room with light. Just then, a familiar voice broke the silence. Marisol stood up, visibly emotional, her hands quaking slightly. My family has lived here for years. We have so much to offer. Let us give our children a platform to be heard. And one by one, other supporters joined Marisol. Rosa felt the warmth of camaraderie envelop her. The doubts that had been gnawing at her heart began to dissolve. After the outpouring of support, they discussed the possibility of a small budget to start. It was not a yes yet, but it was a promising step. As she left the meeting, Rosa felt buoyed by their voices echoing in her mind. Together, they could forge a path forward, illuminate the shadows that lingered. But unknown obstacles loomed ahead, and she couldn't help but wonder what would be the council's final decision. Would their efforts alone be enough to make this dream a reality? The excitement and fear danced within her, urging her onward. Rosa stepped outside the council building, the cool air wrapping around her like a familiar blanket. Relief surged within her, but just as quickly, it was accompanied by the weight of uncertainty. The voices of support had been uplifting, yet she knew the council's decision hung in the balance. Would they back her vision, or was this a fleeting moment of hope? As she walked through the parking lot, her mind buzzed with ideas. If they received even a small budget, they could start gathering supplies, reaching out to local artists, and organizing workshops. She imagined vibrant murals depicting stories of their heritage, children laughing, learning, and sharing. But funding was only one piece of the puzzle. Who would help spread the word? She had contacts, yes, but time was short. The day would be a success only if they could draw the community in. She stopped to stare at a large oak tree, its branches sprawling wide, much like her dreams. Rosa, an excited voice broke her from her thoughts. It was Marisol. The spark she had seen during the meeting now transformed into an almost electric energy. I can't stop thinking about what we can do. My cousin works at the local radio station. I'll ask him to promote the event. A smile burst on Rosa's face. That is perfect. We need everyone's voice to make this happen. Marisol's enthusiasm was infectious. And I can reach out to the schools too. They might want to get involved. Imagine the kids participating, maybe even performing. Yes, the possibilities unraveled like a canvas waiting for colors. I'll make flyers. We should also consider social media to get the word out fast. Let us meet tonight, Marisol suggested with an inviting glow in her eyes. We can brainstorm over dinner at my place. My mom makes the best tamales. Rosa's heart swelled with affection for her friend. She felt the energy flowing among them, like threads weaving a tapestry. As they separated, Rosa made her way home, her thoughts racing. That evening, the kitchen was filled with the mouth-watering aroma of tamales. The sound of laughter and conversations of their families blended with their excitement as they gathered around the table. Ideas bounced around like popcorn, growing and evolving into something beautiful. But suddenly, Marisol's expression changed. The same glow of hope dimmed slightly. Rosa, what if the council says no? Rosa paused, her heart heavy at the thought. We can't let fear win. What we're building is so much bigger than one meeting. She looked at Marisol, conviction igniting her voice. Even if they don't back us fully, we can still make something happen. They sat in silence for a moment, food forgotten as the weight of reality pressed in. I want to believe you, Marisol whispered. But what if it isn't enough? Rosa felt the gravity of those words. She grabbed her friend's hand, determination flooding her thoughts. What if it is? What if we push through the doubt and create something that changes everything? Marisol's eyes sparkled again, igniting a fire of resolve. All right, let us do this. Later that night, Rosa lay awake, the taste of excitement mixed with anxiety keeping her from sleep. What if the council didn't come through? What if all their work crumbled? She closed her eyes, drawing on her community's strength and the visions they shared. Then, another thought struck her. What hidden talents existed within her neighbors that could transform this event? She sat up suddenly, her mind racing. She had to discover everyone's abilities, the artists, the storytellers, the performers. The very next morning, she'd start organizing her search for them. Because if they could harness not just their voices, but their hidden talents, her vision might just ignite a fire that couldn't be extinguished. And with that hope coursing through her veins, she drifted into an uneasy sleep, dreaming of a day where every voice, every culture would shine bright. But who would come forward? And what amazing talents lay waiting, undiscovered in the corners of their community? The morning sun peeked through Rosa's curtains, casting golden rays across her bedroom. She stirred awake, her heartbeat quickening as the excitement from the night before rushed back. Today was pivotal. Today, she would search for the hidden talents that could weave their community's story into a vibrant tapestry. After a hurried breakfast, she grabbed her notebook and pen. She jotted down names of people she knew who had skills that might surprise her. There was Mr. Rodriguez, the quiet janitor at the school, who always spoke with passion about local legends. Then there was Anna, a shy girl from the youth center with a voice like an angel. If she could sing, her notes could soar above their struggles. Rosa felt a spark ignite within her. This wasn't just about creating an event. This was about awakening something deep in the heart of her community. She stepped outside, taking a deep breath of the crisp morning air, ready to visit her neighbors and set her plan in motion. Her first stop was the local park, a place where children played and laughter echoed. She found Mr. Rodriguez taking a break, sitting on a bench, sipping coffee while feeding some birds. As she approached, his eyes lit up with recognition. "Good morning, Rosa. What brings you out here?" he asked with a warm smile. "Mr. Rodriguez, I've been thinking about how your stories could really bring our community project to life," she said, the words tumbling out eagerly. "Would you be willing to share some of those local legends?" His brow furrowed in surprise. "Me? You really think my stories matter?" "Yes, they matter so much. Imagine people hearing your tales, stories that connect us all. Would you share one at our event?" He hesitated, then nodded slowly, the corners of his mouth lifting. "All right, I'll think about it." Next, Rosa dashed to the youth center. The excitement buzzed under her skin as she opened the door. The familiar scent of paint and laughter flooded her senses, and she found Anna in the corner, shyly coloring a picture. "Anna," Rosa called, making her way over. "I know we don't talk much, but I've heard amazing things about your voice. Would you like to sing at our event?" The girl's eyes widened, and she glanced down, her cheeks turning a rosy hue. "Me? But I'm shy." "Shy? No. You have a gift. If you share it, it could inspire so many others." Rosa encouraged, determination in her voice. After a moment, Anna looked up, hope sparkling in her eyes. "Okay, I'll try." Rosa couldn't help but beam. With each person she met, each talent she unearthed, she felt the community's potential shift around her, growing stronger and more vibrant by lunchtime. She had spoken to several others, an older gentleman with a knack for storytelling, a teenage poet whose words danced like fire, and a local chef ready to share his heritage in the form of delicious dishes that as she walked home, the weight of uncertainty felt lighter. Each connection she made was a thread strengthening the fabric of what they were creating. But beneath the thrill was still a nagging worry. What if the council didn't approve their plans? What if all of this energy turned into disappointment? The thought swirled, but she pushed through. She had found creativity tucked away in familiar faces, and even if the council didn't recognize it, she believed in this spark. It didn't matter how small the outcome was. They were building something real, filled with love, laughter, and culture shared. Just then, her phone buzzed. Marisol had sent a message. "I can't wait to see you later. We need to finalize everything before the meeting. Are you ready for the big day?" Rosa's stomach churned with anticipation. She quickly typed back, "Absolutely. I've found some incredible talent. This is going to be amazing." But lingering in the back of her mind was the shadow of doubt. Would it be enough to sway the council? As she headed for the door, she made a silent vow to herself. No matter the outcome, she would keep fighting for her vision, for her community, and for the hope that was riding high on the wings of the unspoken talents she had discovered. What would happen when they all came together? And how would the council respond to this unfolding wave of creativity? Rosa's heart raced as the sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows down the street. She hurried to Marisol's house, her mind buzzing with the possibilities of the evening ahead. Each step felt heavier with the weight of her dreams and the fear of failure. When she arrived, Marisol was pacing nervously in her living room, a stack of papers scattered around her. "Rosa, you made it just in time," she exclaimed, her eyes brightening as they connected. "I can't help but feel the pressure. Are you sure we're ready for the council's meeting?" Rosa took a deep breath, channeling every ounce of her earlier excitement. "We are more than ready. Look at all the talents we've discovered. It's about more than just the meeting. It's about the voices that want to be heard. We can do this." Marisol nodded, but the worry lingered in her brow. "I just hope they see what we see. This isn't just a performance. It's our community's heart." Rosa caught the urgency in Marisol's voice. "If we stand together, they can't ignore us. Let us give them something they can't turn away from." Feeling a surge of motivation, Rosa eagerly spread out the details. They discussed the timetable, how to arrange the performances, and how to showcase the food, stories, and music that represented their vibrant neighborhood. During their planning, a knock reverberated through the door. Perfect timing. Rosa smiled, opening the door to find Mr. Rodriguez and Ana standing there, both slightly shy but ready. It warmed her heart to see them eager to participate. "Glad you both could make it." Rosa gestured for them to come inside. "We were just finalizing everything for the council. We're going to change their views, one story at a time." Ana shifted from one foot to the other. "What if they don't want to listen? What if my voice isn't good enough?" Rosa felt the weight of Anna's doubt, a tangible fear creeping in. She stepped closer, looking Ana in the eyes. "You have a gift, Ana. And when you sing, you're not just sharing a beautiful sound. You're sharing a part of who you are. Everyone deserves to hear that." Mr. Rodriguez nodded in agreement, his eyes shining with a familiar warmth. "Young lady, your talent is like a thread in the fabric of our community. If you don't share it, it's like leaving a part of our story untold." Encouraged, Ana offered a shy smile. Just then, Marisol returned with a fresh batch of cookies, filling the room with that familiar, cozy scent. It was a perfect reminder that together, they were stronger. As the group shared cookies and laughter tumbled over every possible worry. Ideas flowed as if the very air ignited with hope. But in the midst of their camaraderie, the reality of unknown outcomes loomed heavy in the back of Rosa's mind. "Let us practice one more time," Rosa suggested. "If we can present it like the surprise it is, they won't be able to resist." They gathered in a circle, hearts beating faster as they rehearsed. With each passing moment, the nerves ebbed, replaced by conviction. As the night deepened, they huddled closer, soft voices weaving their collective hopes. But just as they finished, a frantic knock echoed at the door. Rosa paused. A chill ran down her spine. Who could it be at this hour? When she opened the door, Mr. Alvarez stood there, his face pale and drawn. "Rosa," he said, urgency in his voice, "you need to come quickly. There's been an incident that could affect everything we've worked on." Rosa's heart sank. What could possibly threaten their plans? As she exchanged worried glances with Marisol, Mr. Rodriguez, and Ana, the weight of uncertainty settled over them. Would they still pull this off? With adrenaline surging through her veins, Rosa knew they needed to face whatever was coming together. But what could possibly derail their community's momentum? With that question looming in her mind, Rosa stepped into the night, ready to confront the unknown. Rosa stepped out into the cool night air, the streetlights flickering like anxious stars overhead. Mr. Alvarez's eyes were filled with a mix of fear and urgency, and Rosa's stomach twisted in response. She took a deep breath, trying to muster the courage that felt as elusive as the shadows around them. "What happened?" she asked, her voice steady despite the racing of her heart. "It's the community center," Mr. Alvarez hurriedly explained. "There was an unfortunate incident. They're planning to shut it down, citing safety concerns. If that happens, our entire project will be at risk. All those voices we've been working to uplift, they might never see the light." Rosa's heart dropped. The community center wasn't just a building. It was a lifeline. It was where Ana learned to embrace her voice, where Marisol found her passion for organizing, where laughter echoed with dreams. We can't let this happen, she exclaimed, glancing back at her friends, who were straining to hear every word, their expressions a mix of hope and fear. Exactly, Mr. Rodriguez chimed in, stepping closer. We need to rally everyone together. If we don't act now, we could lose everything. Marisol's brows knitted together, realization dawning. What if we use the council meeting as a platform? We can show them what the center means to us. Rosa felt a surge of determination. Yes, we'll gather everyone who has ever used the center. We'll tell our stories, our journey. If they see the impact it has on our lives, they won't be able to ignore us. Anna nodded slowly but still looked uncertain. But what if our voices don't make a difference? Rosa stepped closer, holding Anna's gaze. Your voice is powerful, Anna. If you can sing your heart out, if we each share our stories, we'll touch their hearts. We can show them why the center is worth saving. The flicker of hope began to ignite a fire in the group. They exchanged glances, each coming to grips with the enormity of what lay ahead. The urgency of their mission sent adrenaline racing through Rosa's veins. Let us get everyone together, Marisol suggested, her initial worry replaced with excitement. We can use social media, flyers, word of mouth, whatever it takes. As they brainstormed, the panic began to shift into tangible action. Each idea brought with it a renewed sense of purpose. They could reach out to neighbors, families, and friends. They would mobilize their community, reminding everyone of their collective strength. Returning to the meeting set for the next night felt less daunting now. Rosa felt the energy of her friends surrounding her. And in that moment, she realized they weren't just fighting for a space. They were fighting for their voices, for their stories, for their lives woven together like a vibrant tapestry. But then, another thought crept in, a shadow that threatened to dim the light. What if the council's mind was already made up? What if their pleas fell on deaf ears? The overwhelming uncertainty of what lay ahead pushed at the edges of her resolve. Let us meet back here tomorrow evening for a final rehearsal, she said, voice firm. We'll bring everyone with their stories. Together, we will paint a picture of what this community center truly means. As they all agreed, Rosa felt something shift within her, a fierce, unyielding strength building, a bond forming with her friends that felt as powerful as a battle cry. However, as they wrapped up, a nagging thought lingered in Rosa's mind. What if their best wasn't enough? What if, in the end, they weren't able to save what they loved so much? Stepping back into the fading light, the question echoed in her heart, heavy and unanswered. What would happen when they stood before the council? Would they be able to change their minds? The sky was still a deep navy as Rosa, Marisol, Anna, and Mr. Alvarez gathered back at the center the next evening. The energy was palpable, a blend of excitement and underlying anxiety. They stood in front of a small crowd that had trickled in friends, family, and supporters ready to lend their voices, showing what the community center meant to them. Rosa never remembered a time when she felt the weight of so many eyes. Each face reflected hope and uncertainty. She looked around, her heart racing, and cleared her throat. Tonight, we stand united for something that matters to us all, she began, her voice shaking only slightly. Marisol stepped forward, looking energized. We've all got stories, things the center has helped us achieve. Let us be clear. These walls are where dreams were built, dreams worth fighting for. The crowd nodded in agreement, a ripple of murmurs and smiles spreading through the small gym. Anna, still a bit hesitant, glanced at their friends, gathering courage as she stepped to the front. I remember my first day here. I was scared to sing in front of people, but the center gave me that courage. It's like finding light in the dark. She hesitated, her voice cracking but revealing a profound truth. Rosa felt a swell of pride and hope. Exactly. It's about more than the space. It's about community, growth, and support. She looked around to see Mr. Alvarez standing at the back, pride etched on his face. As the different voices echoed around the room, everyone started to share their experiences, each story building upon the last, weaving an intricate tapestry of resilience and connection. There was laughter amidst the tears, moments that reminded them all of the love the center fostered. Then, as the night unfolded, Marisol took a deep breath, standing taller. I remember a cleaning lady who used to work here. She spoke so little, but had such grace while she folded chairs. One day, she suddenly translated a speech for us, and it changed everything. She brought us together, showed us how all languages connect us. What if we bring that idea to the council? Our hidden talents can bring change. Rosa nodded, her heart racing as the idea blossomed. Yes, our voices alone can have power, but together, we can show them the skills, the talents thriving in this community. We need more than just stories. We can demonstrate our collective strengths, knock down walls they might not even realize they've built. The crowd buzzed with fresh energy, ideas popping up like fireworks. They discussed showcasing talents that had grown in the center: singing, art, even cooking, mingling together like flavors in a shared pot. It felt like magic. Kindness and creativity flowed through the space where fear had once been. As the meeting came to a close, each member of the group felt more empowered. Rosa was buoyed by the notion that they could shine together, a realization dawning that this was about empowerment beyond the center. Standing outside later, the evening air crisp against her skin, Rosa sensed a spark in her belly, a certainty that building something together had become their shared journey. Though anxiety lingered about the upcoming council meeting, it was now mixed with an exhilaration, that energy they hadn't tapped into before. But as the excitement simmered down, one question hung heavily in her mind. Would the council truly see them? Or would they remain trapped behind the labels they were trying to break free from? Would this newfound strength be enough to help them take flight? The night whispered the answer as it faded into the shadows. Rosa stood at the doorstep of the community center, heart racing as the day they all fought for finally arrived. This was the moment when her dreams of unity and harmony would either flourish or shatter. The council meeting loomed just ahead, and it felt as though the weight of every story shared in the past weeks pressed against her chest like a heavy winter coat. Around her, a crowd began to gather. Friends, families, and other community members poured into the center, faces illuminated with a blend of hope and determination. Every smile felt like fuel to her spirit. They were here for a shared vision, a vision that went beyond the four walls of this building. As the clock ticked closer to the meeting, Rosa felt the butterflies in her stomach transform into a feeling of electric anticipation. Marisol, now a whirlwind of energy, collected last-minute props, rallying everyone's spirits with her infectious laughter. Meanwhile, Anna stood at the front, nervously practicing her song, while Mr. Rodriguez shared stories that brought hesitant chuckles across the room. With time running out, Rosa called everyone together. "Tonight, it's not just our voices," she declared, her voice ringing out, steady and clear. "It's the heart of our entire community. We're here to show that we matter, that our stories matter." A powerful cheer erupted from the gathered crowd, and Rosa knew that together, they were about to break barriers. Each person brought their narrative, a blend of traditional recipes, heartfelt songs, and heartfelt testimonies, all woven into a rich tapestry that spoke to the very essence of who they were. As they arrived at the council meeting, Rosa's heart pounded with excitement. Friends and neighbors filled the seats, taking a stand as they transformed the room that had once felt chalky and cold into a vibrant ecosystem of passion and unity. A wall of color emerged as old stories mixed with future dreams, amplifying their courage. The council members sat at the front, their expressions stone-faced and indecipherable. But Rosa held on to her resolve. She took a step forward, heart lifting as she spoke. "We've come to share something powerful, that each of our voices is light. Together, we illuminate." As Mr. Rodriguez started recounting tales of local legends, his words painted vivid images, transporting all who listened into a world of culture and spirit. Anna, now glowing with confidence, took the stage next, her voice soaring through the air, harmonizing perfectly with the heartbeat of the community. It was mesmerizing, like a warm embrace wrapping around the room. Rosa glanced at Marisol, whose palms shimmered with excitement as they took turns sharing plans for the community art and language day. "This day won't just be a performance, it will be a celebration of who we are, our struggles, our hopes, and our unity." The energy magnified as each story resonated, weaving itself into the very fabric of the community as they transcended the barriers. The council members leaned in, their cold expressions beginning to thaw, squinting intently as the heart of a community spilled forth. Just then, the tension broke like thunder. A council member turned to Rosa, skeptically asking, but what makes it truly worth our resources? It was a pivotal moment, a chance for Rosa to push back against any remaining doubts. That's the key, she exclaimed, her voice booming with warmth. Investing in our youth means investing in the future. These stories shape resilient leaders who will lift this community, not just now, but for generations to come. She felt the energy shift as the audience gasped, astonished by her passion. Murmurs of agreement rose and spread through the room like wildfire. In this space, they weren't just marginalized voices. They were a symphony of potential waiting to explode. As the meeting neared its conclusion, Rosa handed over a beautifully crafted proposal, detailed with numbers and stories, showing how the council could support the event financially. She presented it as their collective decision, one that came from the heart of the community. Amidst the charged atmosphere, the council huddled together. Every second felt like a heartbeat echoing in the silence, filled with anticipation. Would they seize this transformative opportunity or close the door on unity? Finally, the head of the council stood and cleared his throat. We have heard every word, every story tonight. You've opened our eyes to the importance of the community center and its role in your lives. Gasps escaped the crowd, hope hanging like shimmering dew on morning grass. This council is committed to supporting your initiative. Let us embrace this vision you share. Elation erupted through the room. Rosa felt warm tears run down her cheeks as applause filled the air, echoing in and out like resounding waves on an endless shore. As they left the meeting, immersed in celebration, Rosa's heart swelled with pride. She had watched changes unfold, hidden talents blossom, and a community rise together, breaking barriers they had once been shackled to. In the days that followed, the Community Art and Language Day became a reality. Colors exploded on the walls of the community center as children painted their dreams, parents bonded over shared recipes, and laughter echoed through the air like a memorable melody they had all helped orchestrate. Rosa mingled among the families, soaking in the joy that filled the room, a spectrum of stories weaving together in celebration of a newfound strength. They were no longer invisible. They shone as bright as the summer sun, a reflection of every heart united. As she watched her children smiling, hands painted with colors of hope, she realized she wasn't just a cleaning lady anymore. She was a catalyst for change, a warrior for her community. With renewed enthusiasm, she vowed to nurture this community spirit, turning the spark they ignited into an everlasting flame. This was their moment, and together, they would continue to fight for their voices because when they spoke together, they sang the song of a vibrant future. Now, as you reflect on this transformative journey, remember that every voice matters. Every story contributes to beautiful narratives, just like Rosa and her community's tale. So don't wait. You need to subscribe now to our channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that ignite change. Leave a like now to help us reach others who need to hear these uplifting messages. Comment below with your reactions, your feelings about this ending, and what transformation means to you. And above all, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to experience this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.